Crazy God story. Years ago, a man named Lee Strobel, who was a new Christian, was working at a newspaper in Chicago. One day, not long before Easter, the Holy Spirit compelled him to go into the business office and invite his friend, who was an atheist, to go to church with him that Sunday. He was reluctant because his friend was an atheist, but it was clearly God telling him to do it, so he walked into the business office, told his friend, "Hey, do you want to go to church with me this Easter?" His friend was like, "No, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of that Jesus stuff." And then they had a conversation where Lee talked about the gospel and the resurrection, and his friend just shut him down, and so Lee left. 4 years later, after Lee had become a pastor, he kept wondering why God had him do that because his friend was still an atheist. Then one day after church, a man came up to Lee, shook his hand, and said, "I want to thank you for the spiritual influence you've had in my life." Lee was like, "I've never seen you before. What do you mean?" The guy said, "I want to tell you a story. 4 years ago, I was in the business office at that newspaper in Chicago when you came in and had a conversation with your friend. Now, you couldn't see me because I was on my hands and knees behind a big desk working on the tile on the floor. Your friend completely shut you down, but as you were talking to him about Jesus, my heart was racing, and once you left, I called my wife and said, 'We've got to go to church this Easter.' So we did, and I got saved, my wife got saved, and our teenage son got saved." It is so important for us to obey God even when it doesn't make sense. Most of the time, we don't get to see the results of our obedience, and it feels like what we do doesn't matter. I would encourage you to tell a spiritual leader in your life the impact they've had. It'll make their day.